we're going to be doing some common cooking. These recipes are decades old from generations past, and they all have the distinction of having vague, confusing, or missing cooking instructions. A couple of them are guaranteed to produce disastrous results. Tonight, we're going to start with the disastrous results. I give you baked chop suey. Now, if you lived in the Midwest during the 1970s, this was Chinese food. As you can see, the baking instructions are complete. It's just that every ingredient comes from a can, and the sum total of the seasoning for this amounts to a confusing 2/3 of a tablespoon of soy sauce. There is no such thing as a 1/3 tablespoon measuring spoon. That's because it's got its own unit of measure. It's a teaspoon. So why on earth someone would take the time to convert 2 teaspoons into 2/3 of a tablespoon measure is beyond me. This is also the first time that I've ever made these dishes. Unlike my other serious instructional videos where I make them, figure out what doesn't work, and make modifications, this is the first time I'll have tasted this. Also, I don't have any idea what these are supposed to look like, so some of these dishes might be a little bit bizarre. So without any further stalling, let's get started on this culinary catastrophe. I know you can read this ingredients list, but let's go ahead anyway. Alright, we need 1 pound or more, apparently, of ground beef, 1 large onion diced, 1 cup of celery cut fine, along with 1/2 cup of regular rice, I'm assuming that means not irregular rice, and it's 1 cup of water. We're also going to need 1 can of condensed chicken and rice soup, along with 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, along with 1 can of mushroom pieces in their liquid, along with 1 can of water chestnuts that have been drained and sliced, 1 can of bean sprouts that have been drained, and our 2/3 of a tablespoon of soy sauce. We're also going to need some Chinese noodles. Now, I'm assuming that the original recipe means chow mein noodles. These are actually Chinese noodles, which is deep fried wontons. You can choose whichever you'd like. So let's get started. Okay, I'm not going to purposefully sabotage this dish, so I'm actually not going to follow the directions right at the beginning. I'm going to brown the beef first and then add the vegetables after the fat has rendered out and allow them to cook in the fat. Okay, this is fully cooked, so we'll go ahead and add our vegetables. I've got the oven preheated to 325 degrees, and I do have my convection oven on. We're going to be baking this covered for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Then we're going to be taking the cover off, sprinkling the Chinese noodles on top, and baking it for an additional 30 minutes. This does beg the question, though, why will we be baking fully cooked ingredients for 1 hour and 40 minutes in an oven? Back when I first met my husband in college, I invited him over for some Chinese food, which he said he didn't like, and I knew immediately. I said it's not chop suey. Because if you grew up in Middle America in the 1970s, this is what Chinese food was. And you can thank La Choy for that. Okay, I don't think we have to let these vegetables completely soften because this is going to be cooking for so long in the oven. So we'll go ahead and turn the heat off, and we're just going to add everything into this pan minus the noodles. Okay, now we just need to mix this up. This looks unappealing right now. Okay, let's get ready to cover this and put it in the oven. Okay, this is going in for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Alright, that first 70 minutes is done. So we're going to take it out, take the lid off, sprinkle on the noodles, and put it back in uncovered for an additional 30 minutes. Okay, let me see if I can get it out of this pan and into a bowl. Chop suey does not remotely resemble Chinese cuisine in cooking techniques, ingredients, or flavor. So if you're looking to passively aggressively end a relationship, get yourself kicked out of the potluck club you didn't know you were part of, or you just want to set the culinary bar extraordinarily low, this is the dish to choose. Now I've got my soy sauce here because I have a feeling I'm going to need a lot of it. Let's give this a taste. Bland. Uniform consistency, not right.